The Federal Reserve is putting up a fight over whether to disclose which banks received emergency loans last year. A federal court ruled last month that the Fed must release documents identifying the companies. The ruling came in response to a lawsuit filed by Bloomberg News through the Freedom of Information Act. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal today, Bloomberg News editor-in-chief Matt Winkler wrote, quote, "The issue at stake here is understanding the financial crisis and its aftermath. The information Bloomberg is seeking is vital to that, and it belongs to all Americans." Now, Bloomberg's Betty Luce spoke earlier with Matt Winkler about this case.
The Fed has almost operated under this presumption that they would never have to reveal these documents.
Yeah. To give the Fed its credit, it is entitled to do routine smoothing out of supply and demand week to week, month to month, among regional banks and money center banks. What we're talking about here is a crisis of epic proportions, the likes of which you and I haven't seen in our lifetime. Even our parents really haven't seen it. You have to really go back to when our grandparents were around.
Right, to the Depression.
To try to come up with an analogy that's comparable to what we're seeing today. And that's why this is so important.
Now, the Fed has argued in this case that if they were to reveal these documents, that it would put the banks at a competitive disadvantage, that it could even cause runs on some of the banks. Why does that argument not hold any water?
Because as the judge who ruled on our request for information under the Freedom of Information Act said, there is no evidence to support that assertion by the Fed. And if one actually looked for examples that would provide some clarity about this issue, you could, in one instance, look at what has happened to, say, Citigroup shares. Once it became clear the government was going to step in and rescue or protect Citigroup, the shares went up more than 50%. The same thing was true with the fourth online brokerage, number 4 online brokerage, E-Trade. When it became clear that there was going to be a protection there, a government backstop, actually the share price went up more than 50%.
So, Matt, who ultimately has the final decision on this appeal?
Betty, it comes down to President Obama. And that's because the Solicitor General, who makes the decision to appeal or not, reports to the President through the Attorney General, Eric Holder. And if President Obama is consistent with what he's already said about transparency and the need for greater transparency and how his government, his administration is going to be the most transparent, then we like to think that he will have some impact on this decision and there won't be an appeal.
And the Federal Reserve is currently weighing whether to appeal the court ruling.